everyone, welcome back to Allcarnews, and I am happy to be sharing with you guys this 2025 Mercedes G63 AMG. And of course, as in all of our videos, we will take you on a full in-depth tour and review because there are quite a significant amount of upgrades that the G-Wagon has gotten for the 2025 model year. And this G63 has a lot of unique stuff that it is getting as well. So as of course, we'll go and dive in just a second, but just take in this absolutely gorgeous G-Wagon in this custom Manufaktur China blue paint finish. Nice bright chrome work finish, and this one is spec'd at around $216,000, as every G-Wagon really can be customized to your liking when ordered from new. Enough with all the talking, let's go dive in with this absolutely epic SUV. So what's under the hood of this 2025 G63 AMG? Well, we find a familiar 4-liter twin turbocharged handcrafted V8 from the AMG lineup, though for 2025 we do get a 48-volt mild hybrid system, which is a pretty integral technology actually on this vehicle, but we'll get to that in just a second. Now this also comes with an integrated starter generator, which means you are going to have pretty much completely seamless and smooth auto stop start situations, and even just starting up the vehicle, it just boom, comes to life. You're not really getting that starter sound half the time anymore, which is really cool. And it also does add a little bit of eBoost in there, a little bit of extra horsepower and torque to kind of fill in. So this vehicle technically, even though it makes 577 horsepower and around 627 torque, that figure can be a little bit around 600 horsepower with that extra boost from the electric 48-volt system, which is pretty cool. Now, this also is getting paired to a 9-speed automatic gearbox, of course, sending power to all 4 wheels. And we still have our traditional 3 locking differentials, our front, center lock, as well as rear locking differentials. And since this is a 2025, we are getting a totally new suspension system under the skin of this vehicle that is actually powered by this 48-volt system as well, since it's hydraulic. It's an all-new hydraulic suspension, and let me tell you something, it totally transforms how this G-Wagon drives on the road. It makes it way more comfortable, incredibly selectable and customizable through the settings and the infotainment system, and it just feels way more like a car actually than a big body on frame off-roading luxury SUV. So that is a really nice feature, what we'll get to just in a little bit in the driving portion of the video. Now of course we gotta talk design. The G-Wagon has really been a very familiar looking vehicle for the 40-ish years it's been around, and that is still the case here, though we have a lot more upgrades and a lot more streamlined components for the latest generation, as well as this 2025 model year. And this is finally getting a lot more technological upgrades that the G-Wagon has been missing out on for quite some time. Regardless, visually, you're always going to be able to tell this is a G63 AMG with the unique Panamericana grille shape up here that we see on all AMG products these days. And of course, we have our signature circular LED headlights over here with Mercedes multi-beam technology, so incredibly bright at night. Of course, we have our iconic turn indicators right up here, as well as side marker lights for the US market. That's still the same here. And of course, we're getting the nice, massive front push bar up front here. And this one you're gonna find up close, there is actually a camera mounted within that metal push bar. And of course, you can option this all to be blacked out with the AMG night packages if you do choose to do so. And of course, there is this paint. This is an absolutely gorgeous Manufaktur China blue paint. It is not cheap. It is a little bit pricey. Here's the price for you guys right here, but it looks absolutely gorgeous. And it's definitely one way to be sure that you're gonna get some looks in this vehicle, even more so than usual. You're also going to note up here we have headlight washers, as well as radar adaptive cruise control, as well as lane keep assist finally. So that's hidden all behind that Mercedes star, and you're going to find parking sensors around the vehicle. I like how they're very well hidden over here, and I also like what they've done to this lower bumper area. This is very cool fin style intake section over here, very familiar to what I'm seeing on the newer AMG GT products as well. So that's a nice little kind of sportier bumper touch. Joining me over here on the side of the G63, of course, we have these really signature body lines in the G63, which look fantastic. Nice flared fender arches over here. We have our V8 by Turbo badge as well, and a little AMG badge right up there. But these are the optional 22-inch forged AMG wheels, I think they look just okay. I don't know if this would be my personal option because you have so many different wheel choices you can actually configure in the Mercedes configure for your G-Wagon. So this is a nice, I think, a tame wheel option. There's those monoblock style ones as well that they offer. These are pretty cool. But I think what's really cool on this vehicle is hiding behind this wheel and tire action. But this new hydraulic suspension system is just absolutely fantastic. It works with the 48-volt system like I mentioned before. It can help keep the vehicle very planted and feel nice and stable during acceleration, during braking, and it helps to manage body roll through corners. So this is a 100% thing you need to have on your G-Wagon. It totally will transform your driving experience. It will show you how that works out on the road. And we also are getting, of course, keyless access. Yes, we have keyless access now on the G-Wagon. And honestly, this will actually be an interesting thing this week. We're also getting something called this Manufaktur logo appearance package here. So on each of the little openers for your door handle, there's a little G emblem, which is really cool. And under our mirrors over here, we have a projector that has a nice big G on it and it says "stronger than time," which is a cool slogan for the G-Wagon. Now, with this all new keyless access function, it works just as you would expect. You just put your hand behind here, it unlocks. We have a little button here you can press to lock it, and then you can just press in, and of course it opens just like it would on a normal door, and you still get that iconic sound when closing the doors on your G-Wagon on all 4 doors as well. So apparently Mercedes had a lot of work to kind of make this all work with the electronic system, but thankfully you do get that in the G-Wagon. Now I did notice this week actually, you gotta let it just open and not just push at the same time, because I noticed it got stuck actually. So I had to close the vehicle and then unlock it again, which is really weird. So unlock, then open, and then it should be totally fine. But just one little quirk I found over the course of this week. Now coming around to the rear end of this 2025 G63, of course we have our big full-size spare wheel cover back here. This is actually a Manufaktur wheel cover back here, so it's an extra option, and of course finished in the same China blue paint finish. Love this as well. And we still don't have a power tailgate on the G-Wagon, and I think that is just okay because this thing is wild, huge, and feels so incredible to open and close it, but it is a little bit of a workout. Now, of course, this is a pretty interesting operation back here as we don't actually get the ability to lock the vehicle via this handle. We can unlock it actually. There's no capacitive touch here. You just press in once, it unlocks, and then you can open it up. So it's a one press, then open situation. You have a keyhole still back here as well. G63 badge. Opening up our rear trunk. Of course, the nice big heavy swing door. We have our backpack back here to kind of give a little demonstration of amount of space you have, but I really like this space back here. This one is getting this absolutely gorgeous stitched leather backing back here, as well as our open pore wood trim on the actual handle, which is a really, really cool touch. And there's an option back here now that you can get a full wood floor. It's actually not that expensive an option, but I think it looks gorgeous. I would just be a little bit scared to get that one scratched up, but we have carpet in this back one, lots of tether points back here. We have some speakers as part of our audio system in the vehicle, brushed metal side sill plate over here, and we even have these little grippy steps here. So I guess if you wanted to step up here, you have a little bit of a grip as well to kind of access something on the roof if there's a roof rack on here. We do have a cargo cover on this particular one as well, which is a nice touch. And we can fold down that second row seating to unlock a little bit more cargo space. I think it's just around 70 cubic feet. I think it's around 68 cubic feet as well. So not incredibly huge, but a decent amount of cargo space. And I like how we do actually have a good amount of space behind that second row as well. It's around 38-ish cubic feet of cargo space. And of course, closing this thing up, like I said, still not power. So you gotta manhandle it just a little bit. You get that nice solid thunk sound of the locks on the G-Wagon. Now, of course, getting into the rear seats of the G63, of course, we have like a side steps, like I mentioned before. Just be a little bit cautious of those exhausts. They can be a little hot when you're getting out. Now, we do get keyless access on the rear doors as well, so we can unlock and lock the vehicle. Same little cool G logo on there as well. Let's open up the door. Really nice, solid sound as you would expect out of a G-Wagon. Now, the doors don't open that wide actually, so getting in and out you have a little bit of an opening. And of course the G-Wagon isn't the biggest vehicle with that very familiar around 113-inch wheelbase, so the rear seats are a little bit cramped, but we do get some nice amenities back here. So let's go hop in and see what we're getting. Okay guys, getting inside of the rear of the G-Wagon, immediately you're going to notice this absolutely gorgeous Manufaktur interior we have here. very solid funk there. And as you can see, opening up this door just one more time, the entire panel of the door is leather. And this is generally a very wonderful place to be. I prefer to be up front personally, but you can definitely sit back there here, not too bad. I have a decent amount of foot space. Lots of knee room and leg room actually is pretty good. We have storage cubbies on the backs of each seat as well. We are also getting our own air vents back here, which are wonderful, feel nice to the touch. And this all back here in typical Mercedes is cheap plastic. This is all stitched leather. We have an upgraded interior package as well, so we got a little bit more extended leather than a normal G-Wagon. We have our own air vent controls back here, nice physical buttons. We have two USB-C ports as well as a 12-volt socket back here as well, which is also nice. And since this is a ladder frame chassis, we actually don't really have that big of a hump over here since this vehicle is so high up. So you can actually sit in the center of the G-Wagon. There's a little bit less foot space, but it's actually not too bad. My legs aren't too high up, and you can see each outboard passenger still gets a decent amount of space. We also are getting ambient lighting back here, as you can kind of see coming on right now, which is a really nice, luxurious touch. And I like how all the buttons are illuminated, even in the rear seats as well, which is really cool. Up here, like I mentioned, we have these leather grab handles up here, which are gorgeous. It is a separate option. We have a nice interior illumination as well, some hooks over here, which is great. And we can see we have an Alcantara headliner, and right smack in the center is an ambient light lit speaker as part of our Burmester audio system. And of course it is metal. This looks absolutely gorgeous. Up here you can see we have a little bit of a small sunroof, but thankfully that does not compromise your headspace, as it does kind of cut out up here, which is really great. So I have no issues in terms of headroom whatsoever. Love the tinting on the glass. It's really not an effect on the interior. You can have a nice kind of UV protection. You can still see out perfectly fine. Visibility in this car is actually quite fantastic. Folding down our center armrest, we are getting two cup holders back here, which is nice. And of course you can fold these seats down. The seats themselves are absolutely so luxurious and comfortable. With this gorgeous leather in here, a nice, really cool quilted style pattern. We have our headrests that do go up and down as well, a little funky design, and the seats do actually recline just a little bit as well, which is a nice touch. But we don't get any sort of massage or cooling back here, which actually would have been, I think, a nice option, though overall it's a really nice, luxurious rear seat cabin space. But let's go hop up front and check out this front cabin space, because this is where all the real changes are for the 2025 G63 AMG. I love this interior. This is absolutely amazing. Again, like we saw in the rear seats, fully stitched door panels as well, all leather, all the way down to this lower portion as well as all leather. Nice big door pocket as well. We have additional metal speakers here for our Burmester sound system, which even has some speakers up here. Really gorgeous open pore wood, ambient lighting, and this one has a radiant heating package. So this entire portion on the front door is heated when you turn on your heated seats, which is so cool. So it's a nice quilted piece over here, real metal all over the place. This is a fantastically well built cabin, and this whole dash piece is also leather. We even have a leather little piece and panel down here with ambient lighting strips all through this center piece over here. And with this interior upgraded package here, this absolutely gorgeous interior gets these upgraded leather seats. We even have little cushion headrests we can adjust up here, which is a gorgeous touch. A little AMG badge on our seats here. Great bolstering on the sides over here that does move throughout the corner. So you go in the corner, it tightens a little bit on either side. We have massage in here as well. This color is getting a little bit dirty, it looks like, but it is really supple, soft leather, and it smells fantastic in here. So let's go hop inside and see what's new for 2025. Has solid dunk once again, and here is our heavily upgraded cabin of the 2025 G-Class lineup. Let's start it up and see what we're dealing with in here. The start stop switch right over here. That V8 rumbles to life instantly thanks to that 48-volt integrated starter generator. We have our AMG steering wheel here as well. And the best new part of this interior is the new screens. All new steering wheel, leather wrap. You can get a variety of different materials on this steering wheel, which is nice. And we also are getting the newer style controls on here. So we have our AMG dynamic selectors on the steering wheel, so we can change our drive modes really easily here up to Sport Plus, Sport, Comfort, an individual mode, as well as a slippery mode as well, and that opens up our panel. But they've also kept this mode over here, so this is, you can still change your drive modes via this little switch down here. So you have a few different ways to actually do that. I do love this little panel over here on the left hand side though, where you can change your suspension adjustment. This makes a huge difference with this new hydraulic suspension system. Open and close our exhaust, and of course we can change these panels just by touching it. But I also like how we have a manual mode button right here as well next to our low range off-road cockpit access, so that's going to open up our off-road cockpit in our infotainment screen, and we have our controls for our 3 locking differentials in this vehicle. So a lot of stuff right off the bat. This steering wheel we've seen in pretty much every AMG product. It works fine. I think it's generally okay. Just kind of controlling these little haptic buttons over here are a little bit frustrating. I do like though how Mercedes allows you to kind of control the infotainment system via here. It's actually very, very a fantastic experience. Of course, it's also touch, and we still have our trackpad down here, so you can interact with the screen in a variety of ways. And I think that is luxury. Choice is a luxury, actually. I think we have these nice, big, heavy metal paddle shifters, which are absolutely fantastic to use. Feel very nice. Radar adaptive cruise control in a G-Wagon. Finally, this is a really nice feature. And we also are getting things like lane keep assist. So if I pop up this little menu down here, quick access functions, we have ability to change our active steering assist as well as our active lane keep assist as well. So that's really nice, and that's easy to access via these little buttons. We have quick little buttons over here for our cameras. And this is another big upgrade as well. So we're getting great crystal clear 360 cameras now, so we can do all that fun stuff around here. We even have a more close-up view up front, so I can do this, and we can kind of split it up to see all 3 panels of the front camera system, which is really great. But it gets even better. When you go into your off-road cockpit, you're now getting one of those off-road camera systems. So if I start moving forward just a little bit, it's going to start painting the road underneath, as we've seen in a lot of these off-road camera systems. So that's a nice new feature as well on this G63 for 2025. Lots of great upgrades with the camera and parking sensor stuff as well. Traditional Mercedes stocks over here, we still get a stalk here to control our power steering as well as heated steering wheel as well. You can actually control this through the infotainment system as well. We also are getting our automatic wiper control, and our shifter is still up here on the column. Now, the big new thing as well in this interior is the all new screens and software. So this is the latest generation Mercedes MB user experience system, and it works just like all the other ones we've seen. We can change all of these screens to a variety of whatever we want here. No heads-up display, but I think that's totally fine. We even are getting track pace, which is a little bit overkill, but that is if you are going on a racetrack with your G63. There's some more information in that screen as well. For Super Sport screen, Sport, Classic, which I think is still one of my favorite. You can see our MPG over the course of this week, 13.7 over the past 250 miles. We have understated, which we can change the color in and open up this really cool little media view screen as here as well, which is nice. We also are getting our full navigation. This doesn't integrate with Apple CarPlay, for example, so it isn't the most advanced version of this I think I've seen. For assistance view, we have our off-road view as well, which is really nice, and we get a service screen. So all of the very familiar screens that we have seen on the latest generation Mercedes products now in the G-Wagon, which is fantastic. And like I mentioned, we're getting the all-new infotainment system here, so pretty much what we've seen in line with all the new Mercedes stuff. Comfort, this is where it gets a little crazy in this vehicle. So we have all of these different massage programs we can kind of go through. We have a hot stone massage basically, so it turns on the heated seats, and it's really, really fantastic. I just came out of the Jeep Wagoneer S, and I said that was one of my favorite massages under $100,000. This is probably one of my favorite massages I have experienced. It is a fantastic system. It works really, really well. We have much more seat controls as well in the screen versus what you can only just find over here on your physical controls on the door. And then of course we can go to our ambient light screen. So this is going to change the absolutely gorgeous ambient lighting on this vehicle. So we have either monochromatic colors, or we can go to multicolor and choose all of our very familiar Mercedes colors on here as well, which is absolutely gorgeous. You can see it really takes over the entire interior. This whole center panel here, the doors illuminate, the dash illuminates, each air vent individually illuminates as well. It is a gorgeous, gorgeous interior as well, even on the rear seat. So that's a wonderful feature to have. And we have our crazy energizing comfort program. So each of these programs is completely unique. It's around 7 to 10 minutes each of them. It will adjust things like the seat heating. It will adjust things like your ventilated seats, your climate control. It'll play music. It'll change the screen. It'll change the ambient lighting. It honestly actually is kind of a cool feature. I did try it this week, and I did feel a little bit more energized and relaxed after using it. So that's a fun touch there. So what else is going on in this interior? I mentioned we have our gorgeous Burmester speakers throughout this entire cabin up here on the fully stitched extended leather dash, which is really nice. Up here in our control panel up here, there's even stuff. I love the interior illumination in here. There's little crystal chandeliers, I almost like to call it, up there, which is really nice. We still have those leather handles up here as well, which stitched leather, feels absolutely gorgeous. Alcantara headliner, as we saw in the rear seats as well. And of course, this center console is getting our particular choice here of this gorgeous dark open pore wood as well. So this entire panel is open pore wood, metal trim around it, feels absolutely fantastic. Open up this little piece over here, and you're going to reveal your wireless charging pad. You have a 12-volt socket over here as well, 2 USB-C ports which are illuminated, and our massive cup holders that are heated or cooled. So this is just a wonderful feature. I like how the ambient lighting plays along with either mode, and it does actually work as well. So you don't need a fridge in here taking up your whole center console storage space. You have a cooled cup holders, which is fantastic. This is a nice quality feel, opening and closing that as well. Same thing to be said with our center armrests, which are, yep, you guessed it, heated as well. So both of these panels get really, really hot when you turn on your heated seats. And of course they do open as well to reveal our center console storage space. We can put our key fob in there if you want to. And you also have a little USB-C port in here as well. I believe this is for our track pace to export some data. So there's a USB stick that can be plugged into there as well. Really cool stuff. Again, we have our incredibly comfortable AMG seats here. These are just absolutely one of the most comfortable seats I think I have ever sat in. They are just hug you. You can really get a perfect seating position in there really easily. And I love the little kind of pillows they built into the headrest as well. Super, super nice. We do have a glove box over here. I don't actually like how you open it. This feels like the only piece of plastic I feel like I can find in this interior, but it is pretty decent sized. Ambient light on the interior. We have some nice, very soft felt in here. And it is, of course, wrapped in leather on the outside, as you would expect. And another really cool touch in this interior is this grab handle on here, which is so solid. You can literally shake the whole car with this thing. And it is an open pore wood panel on here and has the Manufaktur logo right here etched into the wood. So how cool is that? That's a really nice, luxurious touch. And we are still getting physical climate controls down here. This isn't the nicest panel, I would say. It's very familiar to what you're going to find in like the GLE or GLS, but they're really nice with these knurled kind of finish for our climate control systems. And you can see the air vents themselves actually change color depending on the temperature adjustment there. Auto modes, AC rest, so if you leave the vehicle, you can just turn on your AC rest and it will kind of keep the cabin at a set temperature without the vehicle on, which is really great. We have our hazard switch, which I love. It still does the nice blinking on it as well, which is cool. This is just an absolutely gorgeous, luxurious interior cabin, and I cannot say any more good things about it. So let's go take it out on a drive and see how this beast handles out on the road with the all new hydraulic suspension and of course the all new 48-volt system under the hood. Well, hello everyone, and you join me in the Mercedes G63 AMG. And of course, yes, this is indeed the end of the week of this vehicle here over at Allcarnews, and it has been quite a week with this absolutely awesome SUV. For starters here, we do have that 48-volt system, which really does make a big difference when you are operating a start-stop style operation, coming to a stop. You really don't feel it, and it makes that a little bit added efficiency boost there. But of course, this integrated starter generator that we have paired with the V8 and of course this 9-speed automatic gearbox does also add just a little bit of some extra boost of power, which is also really nice. So it's like another around 20 horsepower, a little around 140-ish extra pound-feet of torque of like that electric motor boost, which is kind of cool. So in theory, this is sort of making around 600-ish horsepower, even though it is, you know, around 577 in pretty much all normal applications. We still have our 3 lockers, we still have all that stuff, and all the new infotainment system stuff is a really nice welcome upgrade. We have that cool off-road, you know, cockpit style mode here as well. We have updated cameras we've seen as well in our full touring review. We've kind of dived into that a lot better. We can control our infotainment screen as well really easily now with the MBUX system via these buttons over here. We can touch it, as well as we still have our touchpad down there. So lots of cool ways to kind of interact with all of our displays. So a lot of this stuff has really been enhanced in the G-Wagon. Of course, we also have lane keep assist, radar adaptive cruise control now. So again, really cool stuff there. But what I still think is one of my favorite aspects of this vehicle is the new AMG Ride Control Plus suspension system here. So we have, like, I believe 48-volt anti-stable or roll bar system. We also have that hydraulic style suspension suspension setup as well, which is just a transformative experience in this vehicle. So we still have, obviously, you can adjust the suspension from Comfort, Sport, and Sport Plus, but in a vehicle like this, a tall body on frame, you know, off-road style focus, obviously performance SUV in this particular application, it makes such an incredible difference going around a corner in this vehicle. This suspension system, even in Sport and Sport Plus, it doesn't really feel stiff. It actually just tightens up the body control so well that going into a corner in really any of these modes, even in Comfort, it's really confidence inspiring. Same thing goes with the steering in this vehicle. It doesn't feel like a big tall body on frame vehicle. You can actually go into a corner in this car and feel confident, which is really cool. So I think it enhances the performance capability of the G63 quite a lot. I like how the seats hug you going into a corner as well. So just, you know, coming around these kind of smoother bends over here, you almost feel like you're getting a little bit in to the corner. It's almost like in a sportier AMG product that's more of a unibody based, either SUV or almost like a Cooper sedan or something at this point. It's really an impressive system, and it also helps to improve the ride quality as well. With these larger, like 22-inch wheels, yeah, it's a little bit stiffer in some areas, but the damping and the overall refinement of the suspension is just incredibly good. It's very solid, very well tuned, and it really does manage body control and ride control very well. And a lot of body on frame SUVs, you kind of have that body on frame jitter from the frame itself, kind of going over some larger bumps or undulations in the road. I don't really experience that in this vehicle, and that's one of the only body on frame vehicles that aspect of, you know, the whole suspension vibrations and stuff, I don't really notice that much. In some cases, it's kind of unavoidable, really intense bumps that kind of shock both the front and rear axles, maybe like simultaneously back to back. Maybe you get a little bit of that, but it's so well tuned and damped out that you really still don't feel it, which I think is really impressive in this vehicle. Now we are about to come out here onto the highway again to wrap up our impressions, and before we do so, let's do some fun things. So we'll turn this into Sport. We also have Sport Plus. You also get Pro Dynamics in this vehicle. You can turn off traction, put it into manual mode even via this button here. We can also change our drive modes via this selector down on the center console as well. You can hear the exhaust change, but of course you can actually open and close the exhaust in any single mode, which is pretty cool. Sport Plus really is a little wild. That is how you're going to get cracks and pops in your G63 AMG, which is kind of fun. We also have a few different modes that I like to call it the sportier screens, with Sport, Super Sport, and even a track pace, which is a little absurd in this vehicle. But let's go ahead out here and hear the exhaust open up. Sport dampers, really great to turn in as well, which is crazy to say for a G63 AMG. Really nice balance and stability in the corners. It really manages all the body roll really well, including pitch and dive with this new hydraulic suspension system here. It's really incredible. That rumble from the V8 is just fantastic in this vehicle, especially with those side exit exhausts. Just transform the experience. And when you're accelerating like we're about to do, it just sounds absolutely thunderous. And a little downshift here will bring some pops and bangs for you. Yeah, this thing is a wild, snarling beast. Here the Mercedes navigation warning us that there is a pothole ahead thanks to its vehicle-to-communication systems with some other Mercedes. Pretty cool stuff there. But out here on the highway, we'll pop open our assisted view real quick, and I can give you a little demonstration of how well this adaptive cruise control system does work. So all I do is pop it on, activate our speed, set a good speed target here, and voila, that is really it. Now, I did mention in our first driving review, you do always want to keep your hands on the wheel, and you do have to always keep your hands on the wheel. This is not a hands-free system, and I've always noticed that in a lot of larger vehicles, and this is across the automotive industry, I just tend to feel like these larger vehicles and adaptive cruise control with lane keep assist doesn't always feel completely super ultra confident as a smaller vehicle, just in terms of its larger size and in regards of maneuverability. I still feel that way a little bit here, though. This is pretty well taught. It just, sometimes with a lot of wind, you kind of feel that push a little bit in the vehicle, and even some more intense lane situations, you kind of feel it getting a little bit confused sometimes, but that's why it's not a hands-free system. You do got to be in control at all times, but overall it works quite well. And of course we have the AR navigation system with Mercedes' built-in navigation as well, so that is actually really great in terms of navigation and kind of helping you get to your destination as well. But of course we have wireless Apple CarPlay to kind of cover that up as well, so you can really use whatever you want in the vehicle. But again, to wrap up my week here with this G63 AMG, it has just been fantastic. I can't say enough good things about this car. I get it. I get why people can customize them and will wait years and years and years to have their G63 custom built and arrived to their doorstep. It's just a wonderful experience. It's a luxurious experience, and it's a very unique experience. It's the ultimate body-on-frame SUV, almost you could say, and I think it still retains that status very, very well. As always though, guys, thank you for joining us. Yeah, another review and POV drive over here at Allcarnews, and as always, stay tuned for more coming soon. Cheers.